And we're back for our Let's Play of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Last time we used that ticket we spent a lot of time getting into the previous episode to acquire access to a little theater of our mind sort of scenario. Rusty Rake reference. Lake reference. I mean, not a rusty rake, less... whatever. You know. So let's check our map real quick. See where I can use these cards. Not on the first floor. Oh, 3 on the second. What do you know? Should probably go to the elevator. It's the easiest one. Also coffee. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Coffee is love. Coffee is life. Ooh, yeah, that's a good cup of coffee. Push the button. Push this button. And now spade door right here. Locked. But we have the key. Hooray. Dollar bill behind the filing cabinet. File marked case 630113RN. Renzo Nero again, I think. Autopsy report. Oh boy. Police say that's a report for the case we just mentioned. Location, date, and time. Hotel it says ER 1963 113. Oh, so these codes that keep showing up are important dates. Cause of death. Subject has an substantial visible fracture on the os frontale. The fracture has caused a severe injury to the frontal lobe. Injury is lethal, but no likelihood. Cause of death is the cervical fractures in vertebrae C2 and C3 respectively. However, death from circulatory shock due to the extraction of the bulbous oculi cannot be completely ruled out. Bulbous are those frickin' eyeballs? The fuck did you do to yourself, Nero? How injury occurred? The extraction wounds on the orbita have been caused by a sharp, non-surgical instrument. The wounds inside the orbita are similar to those made from a pocket knife. Wounds could be self-inflicted or by someone else. Given the amount of glass found on and inside of the subject, there cannot be any doubt that the subject crashed through the window on the 3rd floor. Oh, that's drawn some weird parallels. It's unlikely, but possible, that the subject fell through the window due to the impact needed to crush the glass. Therefore, the subject most likely either jumped through the window or was pushed. Comments. Death by illness or accident is unlikely. Due to the evidence at hand, the subject either committed suicide and was the victim of manslaughter / murder / involuntary manslaughter. Okay, interrogation transcript. Transcript and interrogation. This case we're on. Data report, the 14th of January, page 2. Name of witness redacted. Commissar Schmidt says, when does change in behavior start? He was eccentric when I arrived, and then his mental state took a turn for the worse after a phone call from the production company. Were you frightened by him? Not at first, no. But at some point you did find him frightening. Yes, I did. In what way did he make you uncomfortable? Excuse me, Fraulein. He played with his revolver, and his thoughts were very dark. I don't think that would be Renzo Nero. Like, he's delightfully insane, not suicidal. Also, if you are suicidal, please call someone. Call the helpline. Talk to a friend. Like, people do in fact cure for you. Trust me. Evidence submission form. Same case we're discussing for 13th through the 16th. Items submitted for examination. Espresso cup, revolver, playing card, glass shards, and a litter. Red paint was found on items A, B, C, and D. Blood from the deceased was found on item D. Exact model or owner of item B could not be identified, presumed to be a pre-war Italian model. Card fell out of file. Speaking of playing cards, Ace of Diamonds. Investigation report. Same case we're on right now, the 14th of January, 63. Polizia beamed Andreas Coleman arrived at Hotel Les Asiarques at midnight. He was there greeted by redacted in the foyer. He, she, and or they was in a state of shock and spoke about eyes. After being calmed, they showed the officer on site the place of the incident. The deceased was found on the gravel path, lying face down. Legs were facing the house. The deceased's right arm was folded beneath their body, while the left arm was stretched out. A pool of blood had formed underneath the body, and the deceased had visible severe head injuries. The deceased in addition had several severe injuries to redacted. Shards of glass were scattered on the body and around the same. Upon closer inspection, there was additional red liquid near the body, which was believed to be red paint. There were 4 playing cards discovered in the inner pockets of the deceased. A second-floor window above the body had been shattered. The deceased was dead on the arrival of police beamed to Andreas Coleman. The deceased was identified by witness redacted as redacted citizen redacted. According to redacted, the deceased had inflicted redacted upon redacted and then redacted. Okay, dismissal order. Okay, so that would be May 14th of 1964. A bit more than a year to go through. No definitive proof of foul play has been discovered in conjunction with the death of redacted. Physical evidence points toward redacted. Either suicide, manslaughter, or murder. I don't know. But if there's, or self-defense maybe, I don't know. It's probably not one of the bad ones if they're just dropping it. It's been established that Blank suffered a manic psychotic breakdown. There have been conflicting professional opinions on whether the stab wounds in Blank had been self-inflicted, but the majority state that Blank's frenzied state might have given them the necessary willpower to inflict injuries upon themselves. Further interviews with witness redacted have cleared the doubts surrounding her involvement in redacted's death. Therefore, no further measures will be taken into case. Good grief. That old magic man said this would give us keys to the past. I don't like what the past is saying. Bring that up just in case, I don't know. I don't need to drop down there. Save the game real quick so I don't lose nothing. And we still got a second key to do. Which would be over... Oh, not this way. Second floor still. Over here, I believe. Copy, don't fail me now. Heart's door. Heart's key. Okay. Money. Yay. And some more... A scrapbook. Scrapbook's full of newspaper and magazine clippings. Dusseldorf Post, 25/8/1953. Toys on display in museum. Interaction exhibition opens this weekend. Citizens in Dusseldorf visiting Boschinger Kunstinstitute in hopes of seeing beautiful paintings on display will be severely disappointed. Curator Anna Catherine Brown states that the art of the future will require participation. The spectator will interact with the artwork and perhaps even co-create it. The first wave of this so-called arts exhibit called Verslauschen Erinnerungen, spearheaded by Lorelei Weiss, a lesser-known artist from Frankfurt who thought it necessary to litter a fine institution like Boschinger with childish puzzle boxes that only the most fixated could possibly open. A fine product for country fairs, no doubt, but Fraulein Weiss's clothing and insistence upon wearing sunglasses indoors suggests she has the hubris to think her trinkets belong to the upper echelons of art society. Opening boxes in search of locked memories is a prime example of what's wrong with art today. There's always a critic, isn't there? Technique in photography. Issue 8, 1960. Report from Electronic Arts Symposium. Engineers are artists in this innovative exhibition. Earlier this week, the exciting Electronic Arts Symposium took place in Kursiger Messe. The exhibition is open to everyone and hopes to show the exciting happenings in the world of electronic devices and how they can be used for more than work and calculations. Among the selected artists was Lorelei Weiss, known for her puzzle boxes and recently her innovative use of computers. Her contribution caused quite a sensation as its deliberate malfunction caused some panic. Weiss is not too keen to talk about what the work of art meant. She does not want to end discussions by giving them a correct answer. Veteran art critic Morris Talbot insisted it was a comment on the unreliability of technology. But concept artist Eiichi Tanaka thought Weiss wanted to show us the depth of an artwork. Cinema Okyo, issue 4 in 62. Un Animal Terrible review. Terrible. Sorry, it's not French, it's Italian. Because Renzo's Italian. There can be little doubt that Renzo Nero is not a filmmaker for everyone's taste. His critics find him crude yet pretentious. His latest film won't win them over, but I don't think Nero cares. Un Animal Terrible is, in many ways, an experiment in audience participation. A number of scenes present the audience with tough choices about what should happen next. Regardless of the audience choices in Un Animal Terrible, the film always ends with Lucia coming back to life. This interactive film just makes fun of its own concept of interactivity. Nero says that this is a comment on the illusion of democracy, but works just as well as a joke about the illusion of interactivity. We like to think that we affect outcomes, but in truth, most of us are mere spectators, superfluous, tired eyes. Its participation in the end makes an Animal Terrible such an intense viewing. This should be essential viewing for anyone remotely interested in development of narrative media, but we warn it's not a pleasant film by any means. Yeah, I read the back of the box. Not fun. Although definitely some differing opinions here. Lorelei Weiss thinks art's final description is by whoever views it, and Nero's like, no, you listen to my idea, please, thank you very much. Which is hard to do, because his ideas are a bit scattered, to say the least. Journal du Sud, 7/7/62. Renzo Nero wins big at the Monte Carlo. We'll spend the money on new film project. The director caused some mirth when he arrived in Club Bruges with a grocery bag stuffed with American dollar bills and said he was there to clean house. According to witnesses, Renzo Nero was in good spirits and joked with both staff and other patrons. Despite the rumors of Renzo Nero when it comes to romance, our reporter, Miss Alyssa Dubois, caught Renzo Nero in the company of starlet Carla Romano and socialite Felicia Levy, both drinking champagne, but the big winner celebrated with a double espresso. Yeah, something about, why would a dog want to play with a cat? I'd prefer having skeletons in the closet with a fancy voice, but like, to each their own. Were you not afraid to lose such an amount? No, first of all, it was not my money. Secondly, I had seen the stars that I would win. There was no reason to worry. Risky business, gambling up the production budget. If you lost, there would be no movie. There would be no movie, but it was better to have no movie than a bad movie. I needed more money than the studio gave me. Do you think you've set an example for other filmmakers? No, it was a terrible idea that turned out very well. Casinos are crooks, I got lucky. I'd recommend filmmakers to rob banks instead because gambling's immoral. Good luck with your next picture, Miss Nero. Thank you, Bella Melissa. You'll be the one. We were starting cinema from the beginning, the time before when celluloid was magic, not for passing the time between hamburgers. Playing card in the article. Ace of Clubs. You know, we can do both. We can have popcorn fodder and fancy stuff, you know? No one's saying we can't. And the ones who are saying they can't, just like, a bit snobbish. No one likes them. Das Nordost Journal, 6/1/63. Death at Hotel Letizier. Police are coy about details. Oh, 6/1/6. Like that. yeah, like in Europe, like the month is in the middle and the day is in the front. Because they do it day, month, year. But as stupid Americans, we don't say the 3rd of January, we say January 3rd or something like that, because, like, cuts out a whole syllable. Sure, it messes up the pattern, but America. Police are investigating a death that occurred at Letizier yesterday evening. Hotel's been closed for the season, but according to neighbors, there had been a film shoot in the weeks past. The police won't confirm that there's any correlation between the film production and death. Commissar Smith, who is in charge of investigation, refuses to release any further information. The investigation is in a delicate phase at the moment, and therefore the deceased's identity will not be released at this time. We cannot rule out the possibility of a crime, and as such it is standard procedure to treat it like a murder investigation, police commented earlier this morning. Central European Times, November 29th of 82, if I'm correct. Report from inside the Third Eye Movement, cult or commune. Our reporter secretly joined a pilgrimage. I was confused when I received an invitation to an eye-to-eye session from the Third Eye Movement. After some research, mostly consisting of buying fellow writers a drink, my confusion turned to excitement. The Third Eye Movement is apparently a gathering of painters, musicians, composers, directors, photographers, and writers. And so I thought it was in my capacity as a Mendig awarded journalist that I was invited. Jose Marie Gil, the European branch's Magister Artis, maintained it was due to a little red collection of poetry I released back in the 60s. Jose Marie made it clear that it would not occur to him to let journalists into their midst, as journalism is a reactive craft, not a creative one. You see, the Third Eye Movement is solely for those filled with the power of creation, something I'd hear more about in the weeks to come. What I thought was a secret club for the avant-garde bohemians was something entirely different. It was like being offered to sing at King Arthur's Round Table. Suddenly found myself part of a quest, not for the Grail, but something else. Metaphysical power? An entity? Treasure of sorts? No one knew or wanted to tell me, but it was clear that it had, perhaps 1,000 years ago, appeared somewhere in Sulawesi. The members whispered of it as a zeitgeist, and they now believed it was to be found in Central Europe. Art Filter, Issue 2, 2014. Where are they now, Lorelei Weiss? Our search for the elusive computer image innovator who never entered the spotlight. Unearthing obscure artists is the archaeology of the 21st century. Whether it's a long-dead naivist painter from Sweden, a minimalist composer from Latvia, or a mediocre Edwardian horror writer, they're all dug up and put on display. Obscurity adds a value to a body of work, and by digging them up, we deprive them of that value. But the thing about Lorelei Weiss's most interesting art is that it can't be sold, because no one really knows if it exists anymore. Gallery owner Gaston Rousseau pours us a coffee in his apartment in Paris. Last year he started to research the possibility of doing an exhibition, which would act both as a tribute and retrospective of the eclectic artist. He had hoped to recreate her lost art with the help of Weiss herself, and today's most admired names in computer art. She is the Gauguin of the electronic era, Rousseau tells the Art Filter. If all Gauguin's art had been burned, that is. Weiss was an elusive figure even when she was in zenith, but after the Nero affair, for which she is sadly most remembered, few have met her. Though Rousseau's network in the art world, he managed to track her down in Hamburg and swiftly traveled to arrange a meeting with her. I was too late. I had such big plans. Maybe I was a fool to believe that I could recreate a renaissance for a long-forgotten electronic art pioneer, Rousseau sighs. The old woman I met could hardly see, let alone speak. Didn't look like she had much time left. The character we're playing as seems to be in like their 20s or 30s or something, so I don't know what's going on there. But again, 2014, 1963. Only number I'd account for is 1847, but that's when the whole Renate and Lorenzo shenanigans happened, so I don't know what's going on there. Connected, Issue 3, 2022. The Internet Mystery of the Ocu-3. True or fake? We dive deeper into the modern myth of the 1960s supercomputer. You've all heard the story by now. In Ogdenwaldberg, where entrepreneurs Mick Odo and Rob Giba are building a Euro Funland, complete with golf courses, spas, and restaurants, a construction worker came upon a computer believed to be from the 1960s, the Yaku-3. First found it was the basement of the old mansion which previously stood in the grounds. It was later sold at a flea market, and eventually ended up in the hands of an anonymous individual known as Pute in several forums. Pute Spencer here, then claims to have managed to reconstruct parts of the data on IQ3. We've all seen the results on the internet, we've all been astonished by it, and we've all asked ourselves the same question. Was this type of technology available in the 60s? Could an entire interactive retrospective be made, or even fit, on the primitive devices at that time? In the coming weeks, we'll try to answer these questions and dive deeper into the mystery of the IQ3. Okay. Sounds cool. More coffee, yes. Yes, coffee, please. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Nothing better than a cup of Joe. Except maybe Joe Mama. Sorry, that's the coffee talking. Current possessions, we should probably investigate the cards. Found a police case file regarding case 630-113-RN, attached to an evidence submission form. On the back, Club Rouge Monte Carlo is written in swirly red letters. There are 3 tiny stains of a red substance on the front of the card. No genuine attempts have been made to reopen the investigation of 630-113-RN. Had the card been found earlier, it would likely have been evidence into Club Rouge swindle instead. Now both cases remain unsolved. Ace of clubs. Found behind a newspaper clipping in a scrapbook. Club Rouge Monte Carlo is written in swirly red letters. Texture of the front of the card does not match the back. Slight markings on the edge of the back, and the front is starting to come off. The differing texture suggests card altering. Card altering is a dangerous and uncommon technique among a very small subset of European card sharpers. Unlike other techniques, card altering is prepared before a game and requires craftsmanship, confidence, and trust and faith. It's said to have been invented by a group of artists in the early 1900s. So Renzo Nero specifically. Cheating prick. Yeah, whatever. Back to the theater. Hello, Rudy. You're a good boy, aren't you? Maybe a good girl, I don't know. I ain't going to look around to investigate, that would be weird. Oh, that's not the path. This is the path. Oh boy, here come the migraines. Yeah. Do you bring us any magical cards? These magical cards were accessed by me giving you magical cards. So let's keep going. The God of Wealth. Use it wisely, sister. Ace of Diamonds turned into a diamond-shaped key. And last one for you. Ace of Clubs. The God of Luck. If it was so lucky, wouldn't it be a 4-leaf clover, not a 3-leaf one? Semantics. Use it wisely, sister. Ace of Clubs turned into a club-shaped key. You have been a wonderful audience. And he's gone. He did leave the hat, though. Bit sloppy with the disappearing act, I suppose. Or maybe it's the style, I don't know. A little parting gift or something. Yeah. Running over here. Run. Save our game. I think we'll be back next time.